What's going on, guys? BASSFZz here, and I'm doing this video response because, well, I disagree with the guy and thought it'd be nice to take a break from talking about or responding to feminists all the time. So, well, he's just gonna take us away.
Recently, former porn star Bree Olsen came out and said that even though she's left the porn industry, society treats her like a pedophile. She can't get a normal job, and whenever she befriends someone, they break off contact once they learn about her past.
I will have to say this before we get any further, that you kind of have I don't think it's really, I guess you could say, fair that she has to deal with losing her friends, which I guess they weren't really friends if they're not gonna, you know, talk to her after they find out she's a porn star, which is interesting to me. I don't see why you would not want to be friends with a past porn star. But whatever it is, what it is. I understand her frustration, her not being able to get a job and all of that. But at the same time, you know, there is a great deal of responsibility that she is really jerking off, and the fact that she did have a hand to play in what happened to her life. So I mean, yeah, I guess we can all sum this clip up with, I guess, you know, life's not fair. I mean, you know, for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. I don't know, but yeah, personally, I think she should still be able to get a job. I mean, obviously she's got to eat somehow, if not marry some man who'll take care of her. So I think that's rough. As far as her not getting friends, I mean, if she can just be friends with other porn stars, she can do that, or webcam models. I mean, I don't think it's that hard in this day and age to find friends. As far as her getting a job, though, that's really important. So I'm with her on that one, but she did kind of do it to herself. So we'll extrapolate more as the video continues.
Companies are allowed to turn you down for work because of anything they want, and you know, they have morality clauses. You can never work with children after you do porn. You can never work in a medical field after you do porn.
Yeah, and personally, I'm not really a big fan of morality clauses. I think the best person who should be able to get the job can do it, but since my opinion really doesn't matter because I'm a nappy ending on the internet, I mean, until they're repealed, morality clauses are that's just the way it is, man, unfortunately.
And these are things that teenage girls don't think about.
No, yeah, she is correct. Not a lot of teenagers are putting some forethought into their actions, right? So, I mean, I don't know, maybe this is a nice cautionary tale for some ladies out there, you know? You gotta think, and men too. I'm pretty sure the same thing happens to men. You know, something to think about, man. And if you can suffer those consequences, do you, motherfucker, do you? If you can't, you're better off finding a better occupation. So, continue.
You think that you're a teenager, it's fun, you're making money, and that's the truth. It is, and there's nothing wrong with porn, but how people treat you for the rest of your life, it's not worth it.
So let's take a look at some of the most common reactions to this video. People are never going to treat you like a person because you got fucked for a living.
One thing I'm going to have to interject here, which Angry Foreigner seems to not be thinking about. The person there did not say that she was never going to be treated like a person. The original video, Bree Olsen said she wanted to be treated like a nurse with 3 children, right? So when the person says you're not going to be treated that way, he wasn't saying she wasn't going to be treated like a person. He was saying you're not going to be treated like a nurse with 3 children. Because I don't think she is a nurse with 3. Is she a nurse with 3 children? That's what the original commenter meant. He was not saying you will not be treated as a human being. So continue.
Slut.
Yeah, the original comment said slut once. I think you got you were slightly triggered by that word, man. Slightly, just a little bit. Hashtag the triggering on that one.
I have no respect for this bimbo because she got pounded by more guys than the amount of leaves on my front lawn, and half of those guys were black.
You know, I do find it very interesting, though. I remember there are a couple of porn stars, actually. This was way back when, I think I found this out on TMZ or something, how some porn stars actually, well, they're actually only white women, really, won't have sex with black porn stars to not mess with their audience, because apparently some white guys don't like it when white women have sex with, well, evidently, based on the comment that was just read, which is a strange thing to me. I don't really understand that. I guess maybe because I'm a black guy and I like women in general. I don't really understand why other white people. I mean, it's got to be more than racism. It's got to be something. I don't know. I think racism is too easy. There has to be something about that really gets to these people. I don't know, because racism just seems like a really, really easy word. There's got to be something more than that. That being said, I don't know what the fuck this guy's problem is. I mean, she's a whore, and well, the worst part is they were niggers. I mean, it's bad enough she's a whore, but then you got some niggers going on. I don't know. I don't know. Some of these, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know.
Well, if you can't take the consequences, why did you do porn to begin with?
You know, to be fair, that comment is really abrasive, right? However, that is a reasonable question to be asked. I mean, if you weren't going to be able to deal with the fallout, well, why did you do it in the first place? I mean, yeah, again, the guy is kind of an asshat the way he said it, but there is a reasonable question within there.
You think everyone was gonna show you respect after seeing you get pounded by a massive dick on some video?
Got your daughter sucking dick on videotape.
Yeah, because most guys just hate porn.
Yeah, well, some do. I know personally I've cut back on watching porn because I guess personally I don't really like watching porn all that much anymore. Like yeah, I don't know. There's a couple of reasons why I'll probably get into maybe later in the video, but I've cut back like a lot, and it just doesn't do much for me anymore, honestly. So yeah, maybe some guys don't. Sure, do most men do? I would probably say yes, but probably not in any addicted fashion. Probably like maybe like once every week, maybe. I don't know. I don't know most of these niggas' habits.
Right. I mean, most guys would do anything they can to stay away from images of naked women.
No. Maybe. Maybe not. I mean, I don't really see what the relevance here is. Sure, maybe most guys will, but how do we know those commenters weren't most guys? Maybe they're the minority that aren't big fans of porn.
Right? If porn stars didn't exist, you wouldn't be able to jack off to their porn.
Well, no fucking shit. If cars didn't exist, you wouldn't be able to drive them around. And even a 5-year-old can understand that logic. That's not a counter-argument to anything.
You do realize that the only reason porn even exists to begin with is because so many people, including yourself, are willing to consume it.
Yes, but we are missing a very critical detail here. What if those are the minority of men who do not like porn? And also, I think we're glossing over something that's even more important here. It's not even the fact that Bree Olsen was a past porn star. I think it's really more the atmosphere of the video. It's the fact that people are more upset at the fact that Bree Olsen is trying to play a victim when she kind of brought the consequences on herself, which she did. I mean, unless she was forced to be a porn star, which I don't think she was. I mean, if she was, it changed the context, right? But I don't think she was. So if she chose to become a porn star and leave, then she's got to suffer all the consequences that come with it. People are going to have an opinion on things. You can no more stop people from having opinions than you can stop the flow of rivers. Now, personally, I'm not a gigantic fan of morality clauses in businesses. I think if a person can do the job well, they can do it. But then that's kind of nuancy, because I think there are some cases where some people can be really terrible and will contribute to a bad work environment. So standards do need to be there, but at the same time, I don't think past porn stars who can do their jobs well should be a part of that. Because, I mean, they still got to eat too, right? That being said, though, we're missing the point, which I think a lot of these people were more upset with. I think more people were upset with the fact that Bree Olsen was trying to look like a victim when she's not. She's not a victim. She wanted to be a porn star at the time. Now, you know, the pendulum's just swinging the other way. And that's life, unfortunately.
Where there is no demand, there will be no supply. But what did you know? Actions have consequences. So,
you know, it doesn't matter how mockingly you say that statement. It doesn't make it any less true. Just saying.
So the action of providing men with what they desperately want to see has the inevitable consequence of being despised by the very same men.
Yes! Considering the fact that we humans don't exist in a vacuum and we can change over time, 2 years ago, that same man could have been addicted to porn. And now he hates it because it probably ruined his relationships. Now, to be fair, porn was not the thing that ruined his relationships. It was himself who did. However, the point of the example is that a person can change over time to end up despising that which they loved at first. It is entirely possible that it is the same man. And one thing that is very critical here, and I think you're probably more being general to make a point, but it is very important to acknowledge or understand that some of those men who commented may not be regular porn consumers. And so you're conflating the men who aren't regular porn consumers with the men who are, so you can make this next point that they're all hypocrites. When they might actually not be, because believe it or not, some men don't watch porn because they don't like it. I know, there's this whole stereotype that we men are porn dogs and think about sex all the time. But that's really fucking insulting and kind of bullshitty. So continue.
If that doesn't qualify as blatant misogyny, I don't really know what does.
Then you don't really know what does. Hypocrisy probably would be the word, but not misogyny, considering the fact that male porn stars are treated badly as well. So it's not something that exclusively happens to women, something that happens to people. So it's not misogyny, and even then we'll have to take it another step further. They're not hating the woman. They don't hate Bree. They dislike the victimhood mentality that she's portraying in that particular video. It's not the woman, it's her pretending to be a victim. Because she's not. Yeah, it sucks, but she's not a victim of anything. And that's what people's primary problem is there.
And the argument of taking the consequences is a rather interesting one as well, because the implication there is that no woman ever should do pornography. Because if they do, then society isn't going to be very nice towards them afterwards.
You know, personally, I am of that opinion, truly and genuinely. However, I'm not a stupid person, okay? Like, I know that there are going to be some women with nice fat asses who probably don't have enough money to go to college or probably aren't smart enough. I know that there are going to be some women whose probably only skill in life is they're pretty and they can get some dick. So I understand why porn stars exist, why whores exist in general. Like, I get that. That being said, I would try my best to encourage most women to not do that, because it's not really conducive to anything, and considering the fact that it's not even a hard or strenuous job to do, it's very hard to respect that because they aren't doing anything. I mean, I have way more respect for welders and even accountants than I do for porn stars. Which doesn't mean I dislike the people. I don't have anything against them. I can't really respect them for doing something that normal people do, for one, and for doing something that takes no skill, for two.
So that's seriously what you're arguing for?
I don't really think anyone is arguing for that. I think people are more commenting on that's what's going to happen. That's just reality. No one is saying that's the way it should be. They're saying that's the way it is. Because it is.
No more naked girls.
You know, personally, I really wouldn't be too bothered by that because I got like a vivid imagination. And I mean, if porn just were to stop today, that doesn't mean all the porn of the past would just immediately disappear. So I don't think most people would be too bothered by it. And if porn really did stop, then guess what people would have to do? Try to get along with each other so they can have sex with each other. Bearing in mind, porn did not exist, a couple hundred years ago. Or maybe a form of porn did exist. I don't know. The point remains, when people wanted to have sex or wanted to interact with the opposite sex, what did they have to do? They had to go talk to them. So if porn disappeared today, I would imagine people would probably just kind of try to talk to each other if they really wanted to fucking ejaculate or come. Well, you would think. Or maybe people would... And actually, if porn did disappear, it's not going to stop like hentai from being here, like cartoon pornography. People could still draw the porn that they want to see or commission people. So if regular women stopped, it wouldn't make all porn go away. I don't even know what I'm talking about. The point is, porn's not going away anytime soon. So even if that's the position people wanted to have, there's like nothing to worry about. Like there really isn't anything to worry about.
Like that's it. That's what you want to happen. Or maybe you're just mad that a woman is challenging society's puritanical bullshit. Now,
you know, perhaps that is the reason these people are upset. Maybe they are mad that a woman is challenging society's puritanical bullshit. But why? Why would they be upset with that? Do you think there's a particular reason why that might irk them a little bit? No, probably not. They're just misogynists. They just hate women. Even though men also get treated badly too, so that would make them misandrous, which would actually just make them misanthropic. So So but the point is, there's no one would ever have a problem with porn or prostitution, never, because there is no problem with it. Nothing's wrong with it. People are just stupid, right?
Now, some people don't watch porn at all, and they judge porn stars too. But at least they're not hypocrites. They're just dumb.
Well, yeah, people don't have the opinion I have, which means they're unintelligent. So really, is that the game you want to play, man? Come on.
They can't even explain why they think like they do.
Are you serious? You seriously think that these people can't explain why they feel the way they feel? I mean, I can explain it. Some of these people think, which is actually kind of funny, that women are being exploited when they're in the porn industry, and that their bodies are reduced all the way down to their sexy bits, and they're dehumanized because the only thing that's important about them is their vagina and the sounds that they make. They're no longer thought of complex human beings, but just things to have sex with. In other words, sexual objectification. Which actually isn't something that I believe normally happens to human beings, but I mean, I'm not arguing that it can't happen. That being said, that is a pretty reasonable reason. I mean, I don't completely agree with it, but that's one reason why some people who are anti-porn feel that way. I mean, there are lots of reasons why they feel that way. Some people don't like the fact that men's sexual urges are exploited by porn. I mean, like, I don't believe you when you say that these people don't know why they feel the way they feel. Maybe you just haven't, like, listened or talked to them.
Instead, they just throw out these mindless buzzwords like morality.
Why aren't you one to talk about mindless buzzwords? Weren't you the one who threw out misogyny just a second ago?
I haven't seen anyone make a rational argument to why it's a bad thing to be a sex worker, or a sexually promiscuous woman in general.
No, bullshit. You just didn't like what they said. But there are plenty of reasons why you should not be a slut or a sexual worker. Alright, for one, something called venereal diseases, you know, sexually transmitted infections, or diseases or whatever. Crabs, chlamydia, HIV. Come on, Broham. That's one of the #1 reasons why it's not a good idea to be promiscuous. Which, of course, you can then say, well, you can wear condoms. But then we have another problem here. What if the condom breaks? And what if a child now exists as a bastard? He doesn't have his father around. And his mom's got to work 2 jobs, which means she's not paying attention to him. And she doesn't even know who the father of her child is because she had sex with 10 guys around the same week. That's another reason why it's not a good idea. Come on, bullshit. You've never heard a reasonable reason to not be promiscuous. And that's not even bringing in the fact that about morality, right? We're not even talking about, you know, the dehumanization that some people would argue for. We're not even talking about all the different ways or all the metaphysical ways in which promiscuity can bother a man or a woman. We're just talking about the pure factual basis of venereal diseases and creating bastard children who will not see their fathers. Which I think is pretty fucking reasonable to say to some ladies, hey, you might want to think about what you're doing. Same to some men. And if you logically think about this shit, I say this in every video about this topic. If you logically think about this and you say, alright, I understand I can get a venereal disease, I understand that I can get pregnant or I can get some woman pregnant, and I don't care. If you think about that, that's your prerogative, Roham. Do what you fucking do. But if you haven't thought about that shit, you really should. And I don't see anything wrong with saying that to people.
AKA slut. They just blabber on with some abstract bullshit about self-respect.
Well, one thing that would be somewhat foolish to deny is the fact that some people that do lack self-respect do end up becoming promiscuous. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, obviously correlation is not equal causation. I understand that, but there is a correlation between that, you know, and sometimes a correlation can be the causation. Sometimes it isn't always necessarily so, you know. So just to explain that logical quandary there, but some people who are lonely or some people who lack self-respect do become promiscuous in order to feel the void of loneliness that they have. Some people, they're scared of having really close, intimate relationships, so they sacrifice that by having a bunch of sex with people that they don't know in order to feel good, to mask that pain that they feel. And some people still use sex in that very same way, kind of like a drug. They use it to mask some pain of, you know, low self-esteem that they may have. Some women, I knew a lot of girls like this in high school, actually. Some women who didn't feel pretty or didn't feel attractive would just have a bunch of sex because it just made them feel good at the time, but it never addressed the actual problem. So that's one problem that we can have with promiscuity. If it's being used to mask an issue that you have to deal with all the other dangers of getting pregnant or getting a different kind of disease. And also, it can exacerbate the low self-esteem that you already have because it's not a solution to anything. So that's another very important topic that should be discussed. I mean, now, is this every single promiscuous person? No, I certainly don't think so. But it is some. And again, that's a very important thing that should be discussed. That is an important thing to be said. So I don't know why you aren't, saying it.
Well, self-respect is a convenient term, right? It's kind of like racist. It's something you can blurt out when you can't think of an actual argument. And
kind of like misogyny.
here, essentially, all you're just saying is, I know this person doesn't hurt anybody with what they're doing.
Pause. They are hurting somebody. Themselves. Like, if they catch a venereal disease, they've just hurted themselves. And if they get pregnant, then they might hurt their child. Because they'll either have to, kill their kid, leave their kid, or raise their kid without a father. Or raise their kid with a pretty abusive guy. Now, it's entirely possible that a promiscuous woman can get pregnant by a really great man. And, then, no real problems, really. The kid has a father, the kid has a mother, and, he wasn't conceived on purpose. A lot of kids are conceived on accident, which is kind of sad because some parents end up resenting the kid via subconsciously or sometimes just outwardly, which is a horrible fucking thing, right? So yes, the person who is being promiscuous is hurting themselves and can potentially hurt their own children or somebody else if they have a venereal disease and they're giving it to somebody else. However, if the person is completely clean, we still have to talk about the low self-esteem and them using sex and promiscuity to mask pain that they have, which can certainly happen and something that you are not addressing, which should be talked about.
But they don't adhere to my personal preferences and beliefs. And they should be ashamed, because they are different from me. Sluts are awesome, because they refuse to apologize for having been born with a cunt.
Really? Really? That's the only reason? So the only way you can not be sad that you have a vagina is to be promiscuous? I mean, sure, you didn't outright say that, but I mean, there is some implication there. Is that the only reason why sluts are awesome? Because to be fair, I could say multiple women are pretty awesome, or the vast majority of women are so. Since the vast majority of women aren't sluts, I find more correlation than causation. I don't know. I just find it interesting that you actually think that sluts are awesome. I just kind of think that they're people. They aren't really cool because they aren't doing anything hard or strenuous. They just kind of be. Because only women can get sex on tap, so I really find it very hard to find that awesome or even anything worthy of respect.
Everyone likes sex, and sluts make sure to spread orgasms all over the world.
If only. In my experience, sluts seem to only have sex with the same top 20% of guys. Oh, okay, top 30 if I'm gonna be gracious here. They don't have sex with everyone. Like, you might find a slut who kind of, likes taking people's virginity, right? But they're not the majority. Seriously, sluts are not going around having sex with everyone. They're having a bunch of sex with people that they want. Because, interestingly enough, sluts are actually pretty picky people. I know, it's kind of, counterintuitive, but they really are. It's interesting. That it is.
A favor to mankind. I don't know what is.
I guess you don't know what is. Also, by the way, why are you using Sailor Moon as an example of a magical slut? You do know that Sailor Moon throughout the entire anime was only trying to date one guy. What was that nigga's name? Like what? Phantom Mask or something like that? I mean, if anything, Sailor Moon is actually the anti-slut because she was only trying to date one man.
They're like magical fairies, spreading joy and positivity. And it's funny how so many God-fearing Christians love to shit on this woman, despite the fact their Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, hung out with sex workers all the time.
Yeah, but you're missing a really, really critical detail there. He hung out with them to reform them, to make them better people. So, I mean, yeah, you're saying that Christians aren't being Christ-like, which is a legitimate criticism. But Jesus Christ wasn't just hanging out with them because all willy-nilly. He was trying to make them better people.
He didn't exactly advocate that judgmental attitude of yours.
Nah, he kind of did. Judge not that ye shall not be judged, for whatever measure you judge, it shall be measured upon you again. In other words, Jesus Christ was saying don't be a hypocrite. He wasn't saying don't judge. Just for the record, so you people know.
Then we have this ridiculous idea that porn stars don't have any self-respect.
Well, we have to consider the fact that some of them don't. Personally, I do find it very hard to say that any woman that allows sperm to hit her face and then she licks that shit off has self-respect. Because I know I never in my fucking life would ever do some shit like that. I mean, to be fair, I'm not homosexual, but I really don't fucking understand that shit about women. Like porn stars. Like, that shit blows my fucking mind. Like, even as a kid, like, I would always turn that shit off because it's just disgusting to me. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. That bothers me. I just can't co-sign with that shit. It's really fucking nasty to me. And then they eat that shit too. Ah, fucking hell. I mean, if you like that shit, bruh, if you like coming on women's faces, that's your prerogative. But me, that's not my shit, man. That is not my shit.
Well, how would you know? Stop thinking that you're a fucking mutant. You can't read other people's minds.
No, but you can read other people's actions. And being defecated on, I'm not 100% sure if you can write down a list of things someone who respects themselves would allow to happen to them. Just saying. Being used. And you know, I will have to say this one interesting thing, man. Which is actually a pretty dark topic to me. It actually kind of makes me sad. But there are a lot. I can't say majority. I don't think it's majority. I hope it's not. But there are a lot of women who participate in very self-deprecating kinds of porn shoots, right? You know, who specifically enjoy being used as like a thing to have sex. They specifically enjoy being used and slapped around, which is they enjoy being degraded, literally, by their own fucking words. Which would mean that they don't have any self-respect by definition.
And you don't even know the person that you're claiming to be an expert on. Obviously, you're not degrading yourself if you're doing what you actually want to do in life. Right?
Those are not mutually exclusive terms, dude. You can be degrading yourself by doing what you want to do in life. In the last clip, there are women who specifically enjoy being used and being degraded. That by their own fucking words. You could probably find that porn if you just go search it up in Google. Like, it exists. Like, by definition, they do not have self-respect. I mean, it's their prerogative. I'm not here to tell them what they can and can't do, because I'm just some nigga on the internet. I can't stop them, but the fact remains that they exist.
Rather, that proves you've understood that life shouldn't be wasted on other people's narrow-minded judgmental bullshit. And wouldn't it be more degrading towards yourself to not do what you really want to do in life? And
well, wouldn't that depend on what you're trying to do? If you want to be used and abused constantly, you are degrading yourself. Whether you enjoy the humiliation or the degradation, that's factually what is happening. Those are not mutually exclusive terms, Broham. You can do both at the same time. It doesn't make it a good idea, though, which is something I say all the time. So, since I'm about to wrap this video up, I'll say what I always say, okay? If you want to be a slut or a man whore, that is your prerogative. I cannot stop you, and I have no intentions on stopping you. But I do have to say this. You really do need to think about your life's actions. You gotta think, is that really the life you want to live? And if it is, do you, motherfucker. I can't stop you. But if it isn't, you gotta start making some different choices, man. Or woman.
And go against your own will just to satisfy the whims of others? What I see when I look at porn stars is women valuing themselves higher than society's hypocritical view on sex. And
What exactly is society's hypocritical view on sex? What is it? Is it hypocritical to use sex to sell products, but then get upset at people who try to use it to obtain what they want? I can get that. I can understand that, if that's what you're referring to. If you are referring to, however, some men not liking promiscuous women, that is completely fucking reasonable. In the same vein that some women don't like promiscuous men, which is reasonable. It's not hypocritical, like at all. Especially if those same people don't like having their sexual desires being exploited to have products sold to them. Because I know I fucking don't. And out of curiosity, do you really think that highly of these porn stars? Or do you really think highly of your ability to masturbate to them? Just a question, just thought.
If I have to choose, I'd say that's a sign of strength rather than weakness.
No, yeah, it's a sign of strength, doing something that takes absolutely zero effort to do. Yeah, they're really fucking strong people doing something that regular people do all the time. Real fucking levels of strength and self-mastery to suck a dick. And you get one right in the fucking asshole. No, bullshit. Bull fucking shit. They're not doing anything hard. They're not firefighters. They're not Marines. They're not accountants. They're not CEOs. They're porn stars. Alright? Now, does that mean that they should be treated badly? No. Does that mean they should be respected? No. They have not done something that deserves respect, considering the fact that regular people have sex. They're not doing something hard. That's like me getting a medal for breathing. Fuck out of here. And I'm gonna have to end the video here because, well, I mean, I don't want to be here all day, and the rest of this video does have some things worth discussing. So, I'm gonna leave off with this thought. The same thing that I have said numerous times, man. Alright? 1. Should Bree Olsen be treated badly for being a past porn star? I absolutely do not think she should. However, is Bree Olsen a victim because she was a past porn star? No. Should she be disrespected? No. Should she be respected? No. Alright? Just be clear on what my opinion on Bree Olsen is. As far as promiscuity goes, it is very important that we understand that some of these people do not have self-respect. And it is a very important thing to ask and talk about. Because some of these people may not be living the life that they want to live, but the life that they believe they have to live. You know? And I think it's important to give this option to people. Hey, I mean, maybe you don't have to get all the fucking dick you can get. Or maybe you don't have to get all the pussy you can get. Maybe you can, you know, wait or spend time trying to be with someone you actually like and care about. You know, deal with any problems that you have if you're scared of intimacy or closeness. You know, actually form complex relationships. And that's a very important thing that should be discussed. It's not as cut and dry as they hate sex, we like sex, fuck those people. It's very nuanced, it's a very nuanced topic, and like I said, this video is long enough, and I will pick this shit back up in part 2. So with that being said, man, I certainly hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you did, man, go ahead and click that like button. Shoot, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Comment in the comment box below, and as always, you guys have yourselves a great day. I will see you cool cats soon. Adios.